Hi, I'm Natalie, and this is my project called Coral Bleaching and its effects on the marine ecosystem within the Great Barrier Reef. So what is coral bleaching and what causes it? Well, coral bleaching is a natural phenomenon that occurs when coral loses its symbiotic algae and photosynthetic pigment. This loss causes the coral's skeleton to turn white and become visible through a layer of tissue. There are many environmental stresses that can contribute to coral bleaching. However, the primary cause of this is the rise in ocean temperatures. It's important to note that bleached coral doesn't necessarily mean that the coral is dead and that there is a chance it may recover. Since 1998, the Great Barrier Reef has experienced several mass bleaching events, which have been widespread and extremely destructive. Scientists have been surveying the extent of the damage, and in 1998, 44.7% of the 638 reefs surveyed had experienced bleaching. In 2002, 631 reefs were observed, with 42.2% experiencing bleaching. And in 2016, more than 60% of the 1,156 reefs surveyed had experienced bleaching. These figures indicate that almost the entire Great Barrier Reef has experienced bleaching to some extent. So who's impacted? Well, the Great Barrier Reef is the largest living ecosystem on the planet, providing a habitat and food for several thousands of marine species. As the coral reefs begin to decline due to bleaching, so too do the many species that depend on the reef. Some of these species include the vulnerable hawksbill turtle, who rely on the reef as their primary feeding grounds, and fish species including the butterfly fish, gobies, damselfish, who are dependent on coral as their primary food source. However, it's not only marine life who feel the effects of these bleaching events. The Great Barrier Reef contributes billions of dollars to the economy each year. It also provides a multitude of goods and services to societies that rely on the reef. These include coastal protection, tourism, pharmaceuticals, and food. If bleaching events continue to occur, the Great Barrier Reef is projected to lose approximately $1 billion from the tourism industry, an estimated 1 million visitors to the region each year, and tens of thousands of jobs annually. The Australian Government and the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority has released the Reef 2050 Long-Term Sustainability Plan. This report detailed a plan to ensure the protection and management of the Great Barrier Reef from 2015 until 2050. However, the primary concern is the current projection that portrays the Great Barrier Reef undergoing annual temperature-induced bleaching events by 2050. These future bleaching events would have catastrophic consequences for marine life around the globe, with up to 25% being impacted by a loss of habitat. And if we don't act now, coral cover could be as low as 1% by 2050. This would have shattering consequences for the 5 million people worldwide who rely on coral reefs for food and nutrition, ultimately meaning there may not be enough to go around. There is, however, a tiny glimmer of hope for the Great Barrier Reef. Various interventions are underway that may help stop the decline of coral reefs. These include the introduction of supercorals. These genetically modified corals can withstand higher water temperatures and sustain life longer when ocean temperatures rise. While the results of these interventions may not be felt or seen for many years to come, there is hope that interventions such as these will begin to aid in the recovery of the Great Barrier Reef. While it may sound bleak, we can all do our part to help the reef recover. A way we can do that is by visiting the reef. In doing so, you will pay an environmental management charge that will assist in the management of the reef and help fund research needed to improve the reef's resilience. From the comfort of your own home, you can help by adopting a piece of coral. If you adopt a piece of coral, it will be planted in an ocean-based nursery where a team will closely monitor it and ensure it has the best chance to regrow. They may seem small, but these contributions will assist in the recovery of the reef and may even prevent the reef from declining further. Thank you.